Good morning. Today we are going to see one of the carbon components called graphites. The chemical formula for graphite is C. Graphite does not have a molecular formula because it is a covalent network solid rather than a collection of distinct molecules. Instead, its empirical formula simply represents the element carbon C bound together in an infinite continuous lattice. Key characteristics of graphite: atomic structure. Carbon atoms arrange themselves in a flat two-dimensional honeycomb sheets, graphene layers. Chemical bonding. Each carbon atom covalently bonds to three other carbon atoms within the same plane using sp2 hybridization. Interlayer forces. Weak van der Waals force hold the parallel sheet together, allowing them to easily slide past one another. Electrical conductivity. One delocalized electron per carbon atom moves freely between the layers, making graphite an excellent electrical conductor. Analyzing the substance graphite is homeopathic graphite across the frameworks of alternative medicine, physics, dimensions, and evolution reveals how its material properties map onto concept of human consciousness, structural form, and developmental stages. Rajan Shankaran concept, the sensation method. Dr. Rajan Shankaran's framework focuses on the vital sensation and categorization of remedies by kingdom and miasm. The mineral kingdom. Shankaran's view graphite is through the lens of mineral. Its core themes revolve around structure, security, relationship, and performance. The mineral sensation is typically, I need to maintain my structure to protect my security. The Sora-psychotic miasm. In Shankaran miasmatic classification, graphites deals with deep struggle-oriented effort to maintain integrity against a slow, heavy, degrading process. The core vital sensation. Shankaran notes a striking dual polarity in graphites. Intense emotional excitement or vulnerability from the smallest cause paired with distinct relief from weeping. The individual feels structurally fragile, dull, and cold, yet deeply sensitive underneath a thick protective skin or boundary. John Scalton's concept, element theory. Dr. John Scalton systematically maps the periodic table to human developmental archetypes based on rows and series and columns and stages. The carbon series. This row governs the evolution of ego, self-worth, and identity and existence. The central question is, who am I and what is my value? It represents the stage of young child or toddler developing a distinct self apart from the mother. Stage 10, the peak success. Graphites occupies stage 10 of the carbon series. Stage 10 is the absolute pinnacle, center point, and culmination of the series. The Scalton synthesis. Graphites represents the realization and total crystallization of the ego because it sits at the absolute peak of the identity. A graphite state manifests as a rigid, solid, fixed sense of self. It can lean toward absolute certainty or conversely a profound rigidity where the person becomes heavy, immobile, stuck in their established identity, unable to adapt further. In physics dimension, that is spatial geometry and structure, the molecular architecture of graphite provides a perfect physical analog to these psychological framework. Two-dimensional planes, that is 2D sheets. In physics, graphite consists of carbon atoms tightly bound in flat 2D hexagonal lattices, graphene sheet. Within these 2D dimensions, the bonds are incredibly strong, sp2 hybridization. This matches Scalton's stable peak structure of stage 10. The third dimension, weak interlayer links. While individual sheets are strong, the forces holding the vertical layer together, the third dimension, are weak van der Waals forces. This gives graphite its physical trait of flaking, sliding, and breaking apart under friction. Hence it is used in pencils. Dimension mapping. Psychologically, this mirrors a person who is highly developed and solid on a flat, everyday plane of existence but lacks the internal vertical depth or cohesive integration to withstand friction between different areas of our life. Under pressure, they flake or crack, manifesting physically as a cracked skin and mentally as sudden emotional weeping. Evolution. When synthesizing these systems, graphites act as a major evolutionary marker to form consciousness. Evolution of consciousness. In the cosmic evolution of element, carbon is the backbone of organic life. Graphites represent consciousness transitioning from raw amorphous carbon like charcoal into highly ordered crystallized lattice structure. The evolutionary trap of rigidity. Evolution requires adaptation. Graphites represents a stage where the form has become so perfectly structured that it risks losing its flexibility. If an entity cannot evolve past the graphite stage, it becomes heavy, calcified, and stagnant. The metamorphic push. In nature, when graphite is subjected to extreme evolutionary pressure, it rearranges its two-dimensional sheet into three-dimensional tetrahedral network, transforming it into a diamond. In the evolutionary paradigm, graphite is the necessary structural foundation that must learn to survive immense pressure to achieve ultimate clarity. The uses of graphites span across massive industrial application, cutting-edge green technology, everyday consumer goods, and clinical alternative medicine. Because graphite possesses a rare combination of metallic traits, high electrical and thermal conductivity, and non-metallic traits, high temperature stability and lubricity, it is considered a highly strategical critical mineral. The primary modern and traditional uses of graphites include green energy and battery technology. This is the fastest growing sector for graphite demand. Lithium-ion battery anode. Graphite makes up roughly 95% of the anode by volume in electric vehicle EV and smartphone batteries. It functions as the active host material that safely stores and releases lithium ion during charging cycle. Nuclear reactors. High purity synthetic graphite is used as a neutron moderator. It slows down fast-moving neutrons to sustain a controlled nuclear chain reaction while withstanding extreme radiation and heat. Fuel cells. Due to its corrosion resistance and electrical conductivity, graphite is manufactured in bipolar plates for hydrogen fuel cells. High temperature metallurgical operation. Refractories. Graphite has a staggering melt point of 3927 degrees Celsius, making it invaluable for handling molten materials. Crucibles and molds. It is shaped into containers used to melt and pour precious metal, steel, brass without melting or bonding the metal. Blast furnace lining. Large graphite blocks line the interior of the iron and steel furnaces to protect the steel shell from extreme thermal destruction. Mechanical and electrical engineering. Solid lubricants. Because its 2D sheets slide past one another easily, graphite powder is used as a dry lubricant in high friction environment like heavy machineries, lock and bearings, where wet oils or greases would burn up or attract debris. Carbon brushes. Graphite blocks are used in electric motor to conduct electrical current between stationary wires and rotating shafts. Brake linings. It is a key compound added to vehicle brake pads to manage friction, reduce noise, and dissipate heavy heat. Consumers' good and everyday electronics. Pencils. The traditional lead in a pencil is actually a mixture of amorphous graphite and clay. Sports equipment. Carbon fiber composites made from graphite structure are used to manufacture lightweight, ultra-strong tennis rackets, golf clubs, and bicycle frames. Thermal management. Thin graphite sheets are layered inside laptops and smartphones to draw damaging heat away from processing chips. Alternative medicine. Homeopathic graphites. Bridging back to Rajan Shankaran and John Scalton's framework, the prepared form of graphite is used as a major deep-acting homeopathic remedy. Skin disorders. It is frequently utilized for thick, hard, and cracked skin, and conditions like eczema, where lesions exclude a sticky honey-like fluid. Metabolic sluggishness. Clinically applied for individuals exhibiting physical slow metabolism, chronic constipation, and intense chilling. Mental rigidity. Prescribed for states of emotional dullness, heavy anxiety, or severe indecisiveness where a patient feels stuck or rigid in their routines.